Hello, my fellow What If students, and welcome to my dojo. I am British Sensei. If you are new here and have no idea who I am, please watch the first video of the series. Or if you don't want to and just want to watch this part, information is down in the description. I spend time writing these, so please like, subscribe, and comment the ideas and stories that I should do next. Today, I will be teaching you the My Hero Academia style. But before I start, I just want to say thank you so much to the people who have watched my very first video, or even this one. Even views are not things I take for granted. So thank you. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with what if Deku was the son of Meliodas and Elizabeth. Heads up, in this story, I'm naming Izuku Deku. Last time on What If Deku was the son of Meliodas and Elizabeth. Given another attempt at life, he was born through Midoriya. Deku killed off a whole continent by himself. The doctors found something was different about his power. Deku activated a portion of his power and took hold of a mysterious, ancient black sword. What will happen this time on What If Deku was the son of Meliodas and Elizabeth? There is no need to fear, because I, All Might, am here, said All Might as he landed. He straightened his back, looking towards the setting sun. But then he was surprised to be met with the wild torrents of air that the sword slash had created. Okay, what happened? Asked All Might. Bakugo, along with his friends, could still not believe what they had witnessed. So then Bakugo spoke up. I don't know. A sword came out of the ground. Oh yeah, the ground. It started glowing white, then it turned scarlet. There was some sort of darkness around his hand. So dark I couldn't even see his hand. Then it was like the speed of light. He just chopped the building. What? All Might thought. But then he inspected the area and could understand the shock of the young child. A nearby building was severely damaged. The floor was steaming hot vapor through its cracks. And in the middle of it all, there was a boy with a sword at his side. The darkness that was once there on his hand had trailed off into the air, leaving a black symbol of a dragon biting its tail. So, it's the sword, concluded All Might. But once again, a person was wrong about Deku's power. Now that he had touched the sword, he activated his power, and it was now coursing through his body. All Might jumped rock to rock, making sure not to touch the cracks, as they looked really hot. Then he finally got to the boy. All Might, said Deku. Then he hugged him. The number one hero was surprised at first, but he then smiled. It was always nice to have a hug. But then he noticed that he had fell fast asleep, so he picked him up and put his head on his shoulder. Alright, let's take this sword to the police. Inko had come back to pick up Deku, and once she saw the destruction, she ran towards Deku, who was now sleeping on All Might's shoulder, and put him on her shoulder. Thank you, All Might, said Inko. All Might nodded. Then he spat some blood. Shoot! He was running out of time! So he called Mount Lady and left the scene, forgetting about the sword. As soon as he left, the sword trembled. Then it flew into the hand of Deku, Thor's hammer style. Inko was too occupied with putting Deku in the car to notice the drastic change in weight that she had on her shoulder. When they finally got home, Inko looked at her phone and said, "Oh, Deku, it's late." But it was like a second. She saw a figure with blonde hair. "Keep the sword," he said. Inko looked deeper into the car to find a sword. "Only let him use it at the worst times." There it went again. "Keep it sheathed." That was real. "He's not quirkless." Will it ever stop? Thought Inko. It finally stopped. That night, she put Deku in her bed, worried that it might not be just a coincidence. After that, everything went back to normal. The next day, Inko was again surprised after she witnessed her son's power. The doctors were wrong. The voice was correct. Because of this, she believed that everything that the voice said was correct as well. So she went to the attic and hid the sword, making sure that Deku would never find it. Years passed until Deku was now 14, like in canon. He is still the shy but ruthless Deku we all know. But he is a completely different person when his power takes over. You will see what I mean afterwards. Deku was now in school. It was the end of the last school term for children that wanted to be heroes. So they were talking about what schools they would be going to. Bakugo stood up with an angry look on his face. "Teach, don't let me in with these losers." Everyone cried out in outrage until they stopped, frozen, because of the deadly aurora at the back of the class. Even Bakugo almost peed his pants. He could just turn his head to see Deku looking down at his table. Oh no, what was he gonna do? Thought Bakugo. The room went completely dark, with light only coming through Deku's window. Some feathers came through as well, and landed on his desk. Then everything went back to normal. I'm going too," he said. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. Deku had accidentally destroyed parts of the school many, many times. They all went home that day, and everything went as normal. But when Deku went under the bridge and saw the sludge villain, he used 20% of his power and punched the villain, which destroyed him along with part of the bridge he was walking under. And he continued like it was just a normal part of his life. Because of this, All Might never met him, and Bakugo didn't get hurt. Over the next 10 months, he trained harder than ever before, cleaning up the Gobi Beach out of his own initiative, and he did more tasks around the city. Bakugo got one for all, not Deku, otherwise that would just make him too overpowered. And before they even knew it, it was the UA entrance exam. Everything went as normal. President Mick explained what they would be doing and talked about the 1-point robot, 2-point robot, 3-point robot, and the 0-point robot, if that's even the correct order. And since Deku was not using his powers, he was still shy and ruthless. So he talked throughout the whole thing, just like in canon. Bakugo didn't complain because he didn't want to trigger Deku's powers. But then Tenya Ida, a person who wanted to be a hero and was a person who wanted to also be a hero, and stood up and told him off, which seemed to do the trick. They went off to do the exam, and Deku, now using his power, was using some type of light to run and destroy all the robots, and it only took a matter of seconds, and he had destroyed 40. And because of that, everyone else barely had any to destroy. Some even gave up looking at the difference between their power and Deku's. So, he decided to sit and allow others to destroy some of their own. He heard the rumble of the 0 Point robot, and in that same instance, he saw a girl trapped under some rubble, about to be crushed by the giant robot that was coming through the street. He jumped into action. Wait a moment, what was this? Hero power? He placed his hand on the ground, letting the darkness climb its way out and engulf his whole arm. He stood up, pointing his hand to the heavens. Light showered down on him, mixing itself with the darkness on his arm, making a black glow. Dark light. He brought it down like a sword, bringing destruction, his wrath and calamity on the giant robot, splitting it in half. Everyone looked in awe as the two sides exploded, leaving not even a trace behind. The school teachers, including All Might, which had enrolled at that school, were looking through the cameras and had a mix of confusion, worry, and shock on their faces. Even Bakugo. He had never seen him use this much power before. Deku smiled and bellowed the name of his move. Darkness, fall! Thank you for listening all the way to the end of the second part of this What If. If you want more of this, then all you have to do is like, subscribe, and comment down below the ideas and stories that you want me to do next. It's all simple and it's free. So thank you guys for listening, and goodbye. I'll see you in the next video. Lesson over. Bitches Sensei.